Okay, outside of mining, before we finish up, long term, Harry, your long term Bitcoin thesis. I know you said to me before we started, your investment thesis is unwavering. You're a Bitcoin maxi, but like, how do you feel like the trajectory of Bitcoin is going now in terms as a whole? When you look at everything that's happened, whether it's regulation, adoption, technical development, do you think we're moving well? Do you think we're moving at the right pace? Is there anything you look at and you think, here's an area we need to focus on more?
I'll tell you sort of my first principled approach, which is that if I think I'm right and that the world is wrong, then I have to ask myself, how am I going to vastly monetize my correct opinion? Because if I can't think of a good way to monetize my opinion, I might not be right. And so I look at, because the market's usually faster and smarter and better than me at deciding what reality is. So, when I look at Bitcoin and the process and the progress that we've all kind of been on the same pirate ship together, figuring out, I think we're making great progress. I think Bitcoin is working for people who choose to find out how to best work with it. Could we be nicer to each other? And could we be, focusing more on education? And could we be building more interesting businesses? Yeah, probably. Do I think that if you it's funny. I was thinking recently about like when Bitcoin went back down to like 3,000 after it was up at 20 in 2017, 18.
It's brutal.
And I was thinking back and I was like, this might not work out. I don't know that this is going to really like work out. And like this time I'm like, all right, it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. And so it's interesting as the years go on and there's like the old saying in traditional finance, which is like, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. That is what really matters. I think that the quote unquote problem with Bitcoin is that it removes it doesn't reward your bias towards action, right? Human beings, to feel in control of our lives, we choose to do things, and that's how we feel in control. And what Bitcoin demands is that we don't do things.
Yeah.
And so by nature of that behavior, it has forced its way out of more action-biased hands into less action-biased hands.
But it provokes us to do things. It tests us.
It is the cattle prod that revolves the world.
Listen, motherfucker, you might be wrong here. Just go and sell a bit of your Bitcoin.
So, I don't have sort of like a deep technical opinion on are we far enough along. If you're worried about not being far enough along, write some code or fund someone else to write some code.
That's as simple as that.
It's the best I got. I don't know how to help you otherwise.
Well, listen, I know what you mean. I got to admit, when we hit down to 3,000, I was like, what if this doesn't come? What if nobody cares? What if we lose interest? What if this is just like some weird slow death? I was there. Emotionally,
that felt like this might just be dead. This cycle feels a lot more how I felt in 2008. I'm like, holy shit, I don't know what's going to break next.
We were let down by a crypto contagion.
Yes.
We just made a show with David Morris from CoinDesk. He wrote an article he was essentially saying, look, Bitcoin was born out of the 2008 financial crisis and meant to save us from this, and we've just done the same in crypto. And I say crypto not as a shitcoin. I say it because we cannot avoid the effects of leverage crypto funds going out and also buying Bitcoin. We can ignore crypto and we can say it's all bullshit. It still affects us.
Yeah.
But he was saying we've essentially repeated the same mistakes of 2008. We have over-leveraged, unregulated, greedy bastards creating a contagion for their own greed with a few small people affecting a large group of people. And out of that, there's a lot of misery that's created.
I would put a finer point on it and say like, let's talk about the mechanics of how that happens, right? Someone buys a Bitcoin. They send a Bitcoin to a counterparty. They take out a loan against that Bitcoin. They gamble with the proceeds of the loan. the thing that they gambled the proceeds on go up. Then the people who borrowed, who had the Bitcoin posted to them, lend out that Bitcoin somewhere else. Everything that happens until they do that last step is fine and doesn't affect Bitcoin. It's that last step when then they go and lend the Bitcoin back out, and then everybody blows up because the first loan breaks because prices go down. And then the second loan breaks because prices went down, and then prices go down further because there becomes this forced selling environment. Where if you've got to sell assets to meet a margin call, it sucks, but that's the end of the story. If you've got to sell assets to meet a margin call, and then your original lender also sold away all the collateral and can't get that back, that's when you get into contagion territory. It's that second layer of rehypothecation that happens into the collateral asset, not just the proceeds of the loan that get spent gambling.
All right, Harry, man, listen, good to see you as ever. Do you want to pump Grid?
Have we not got to shit on Fort Worth first?
What's that? The first city to mine Bitcoin.
I commend them for taking such a bold and aggressive stance on Bitcoin in the future. I think what the Fort Worth story has shown us is that the cheapest political points in the world right now are pro-Bitcoin. If you just come out as super pro-Bitcoin, there are a bunch of people who are going to love you right away.
Yeah, you get 30,000 followers like that.
Like that. It does not matter how much hash rate you have actually committed to generating. So if you think about them from like a terahash per follower ratio.
What do they got, 2 S19s?
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's single digits machines. So is my guess.
So I'm probably mining as much.
Correct. So I think it's an incredible story that they're willing to take the plunge and be pro-Bitcoin in public. I think that the takeaway is that every other city and politician should try out a pro-Bitcoin platform and see how well they do on Twitter.